Welcome back to the Film and TV channel, and I'm one of our regular features. We've got 3 of these left now, guys. Yeah, episode 10 of The Apprentice, series 16, week 10, episode 10, and we're talking baby food today. Yeah, so this should be quite interesting. Last week, what did we lose? We lost Akshay last week on the home shopping task. He was probably in a no-win situation, wasn't he, up against Steph and Catherine? Although they struggled, they have been 2 of the strongest throughout the process. So at this stage in the game, they are sort of, you do end up wheedling out some of the, let's say, the lesser figures, and there's certainly been a few of those in this series. We'll talk about that in a second. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button. I do film reviews, drama reviews, TV, reality show reviews like this film. Not many, because I'm not really into reality shows apart from this one, in all fairness. So anything like that. So please join me, push that subscribe button, push the bell notification, tell your friends. I try and inform, and if I can, entertain in my own little way. Hope you enjoy it anyway. And please, give us that thumbs up, guys. Give us a little, make an old man very happy. It's great. I'm trying to get between 10 and 20 for these film and TV vlogs. So give us a thumbs up. That's great. So, of course, we've got 6 remaining in this. In theory, yeah, we've got a little bit of a twist today as well, which was quite exciting. We need the last 5, don't we? We need to get down to the last 5 for the interviews, of course, in week 11, episode 11. So, my order of merit before this show, please, there are spoilers in this, guys, so don't be watching this if you've not watched it or you don't plan on watching it. One of the guys last week said he'd been watching, he went onto BBC iPlayer and they'd all been taken down, so he was watching my little catch-ups to see what was going on, which was fantastic. Made, as I said, it made so nice to hear. My thanks to him as well. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Yes, my order of merit before the show, it's split into 2 halves now, guys. I mean, the top 3, I got Harpreet, Catherine and Stephanie. And these 3, for me, are sort of leave the other 3 a little bit behind. Brittany's next, not quite as far behind, but my bottom 2 are Aaron and Akeem. I just think, obviously, there's not the greatest talent on offer in this series, is there, in all fairness? I think, let me know what you think. I don't think so compared to some of the others. I think I watched most of the others. I think I might have missed 1 or 2 with various personal things over years I might have missed. I've certainly seen guys on past guys that I thought, I don't remember him. So there may have been ones I've missed, which I just don't understand why. I might have had other things on. That, life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? Obviously, the teams don't really mount too much now because they've got to mix them up anyway. There's 6 left, and it was 4 and a 2 because Infinity won again last week, but obviously he ended up with 4 on one and 2 on the other. So Infinity now became Harpreet, Akeem and Stephanie, and Team Diverse now became Aaron, Brittany and Catherine. But it's more about the people now, I think. It's more about the people now, they cope within those teams. Lord Sugar has summoned the remaining candidates to Kidzania. Looks like an interesting place. Somewhere, if you live in London and you know what it is, in West London, it just seems like kids could do real life things. It just seems a bit strange. I'll have to find a little bit more about it. But he revealed, of course, that the next task, as it's we call baby food, was to make a baby food, pitch it and sell it to leading retailers, with the team who cooks up the biggest profit winning, or perhaps not, who knows. No Tim, no Tim this week, so we've got Mike Suter, we always see in the interview side of things, but it's nice to see him in it. Team Diverse, yes, sat down, and in all fairness, no one wanted to be PM, which isn't great, is it, for week 10? You should be seeing people wanting to to go for this at the end of the day. We're getting to the nub of this now. We're getting to the end. So it's a little bit disappointing. And the only reason Aaron really got it was because he's got kids. But when I say kids, one was 15 and one was 11. So he qualified for this and sort of put his neck on the line, if you like. And they would go for a veg basis thing with a Moroccan medley. Obviously, that'll crop up over the next few minutes. Aaron takes on board that Britt and Catherine will do the branding. The girls all pushing this again. Aaron Aaron did come up with some other reason for that, but so I think he was asking Britt to do the menu, the cookery side, if you like. But obviously, again, he was convinced. He's not as easily pushed as Akeem, but he does get pushed into these things, and he's such a nice guy. That's the problem. So again, he went along with the flow and agreed what Brittany and Catherine had said. Harpreet was more than happy. I say Harpreet's my number one. She lacks nothing if not confidence, that's for sure. And she's off on she sort of agrees to be PM, and both the others agree with it totally. Akeem shakes and nods his head at the right times, and Steph sort of stifles a yawn. Yeah, Steph has gone off the boil, I think, the last 2 or 3 weeks. She's not lost her edginess, she's not lost her cattiness, but she's just sort of gone off the boil from a business point of view. As I say, there might be more to it than we know. And this team go for a fish basis with a salmon. Salmon is the main ingredient with this, with vegetables, of course. Steph and Akeem go to the branding, and Steph is made sub-team leader. No surprise there. And Harpreet gives her sort of outlines what she wants from them, which is interesting because the actual other team, there was a few complaints about the fact they weren't told what Aaron wanted. And as I said, we get Brittany whinging in the car with Catherine that there's no guidance from Aaron. But at the end of the day, they sat there listening to Aaron. Why did they not ask him? I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. If you're not happy with what brief you've been given, you question. You don't go away and say, "Oh, he didn't give us a proper one." That's just not good enough, girls. So I wasn't really happy with that. I think from that point of view, I think if you've got problems, you say it there and then. You don't drive off in a taxi and start whinging about it. Harpreet does the cooking. Yes, very, very efficient, as you'd expect from Harpreet on her own, talking to herself. Obviously, Karen was there, obviously, but she's not allowed to say anything, I don't think, or comment. And the same with Aaron, who tends to do more of his talking at Mike, but obviously Mike doesn't respond. Harpreet more or less just talks to mid-air, but whether Aaron was expecting some sort of response from Mike, I'm not too sure. So we get the names, don't we? We get the names. Steph and Akeem come up with first-time foodies, which in itself is fine until, obviously, you see the logo and how it's depicted. And for Kath and Brittany, we get Little Taste Adventure. So, again, okay names. I say okay names as a brand. It's just the actual branding of them that's a problem. Kath and Brittany, yeah, there was no mention of it in this. Obviously, they were trying to get a cross between a frying pan, which they did get pointed out from one of the buyers. It's not exactly healthy, is it, a frying pan when you're frying things? But yeah, they missed that totally. But they're trying to get it between that and a microscope of the world, a microscope showing the world in small, little taste adventure of the world. I can understand it, but for me, it just looked like a sieve. It just looked, no one else commented. For me, it just looked like a sieve, half a globe. It just looked like a sieve with a planet on it. So I have no idea. It didn't really work for me. And they did sort of run out of time to perfect the branding, and actually they weren't really happy with what they ended up with. But no, they seemed happy with the sieve, apart from that, no. And of course, when we go up over to Steph and Akeem, it comes, obviously Karen Brady points out initially that the interesting logo reads as First Time Dies. Now, if you know it's First Time Foodies, if you go and look at it and know it's First Time Foodies, you don't pick up on that particularly. But if you don't know, that's the logo and that's the tagline, that's a brand, if you like, First Time Foodies. Yes, you will see the dies. And unfortunately, for the two guys, for Steph and Akeem, the guys who are going to look at this, the buyers, etc., don't know what it is. So they're going to immediately just look at Food Time Dies. So it was doomed to failure from that very point, unfortunately. Harpreet's recipe taste goes down. The food's fine. There's nothing wrong with the taste. All the taste tests, the team like it. Aaron's not so much. A bit of a stodgy man. But Aaron's team had the pouch as opposed to Harpreet's, which was the jar, which obviously you can get these foods in. So we get to the pitches, don't we? Steph and Harpreet pitching to Ricardo. Flavour profile not on the front, of course. That's another big error. I think that was that mentioned? I think Akeem mentioned it, didn't he, when he was doing the thing, but obviously it was just ignored. And of course, they were very quick to point out the first-time dyes as well. One of the buyers in particular was a little bit, what's the word? A little bit strict and nasty, which you'd expect them to be, but again, she's a bit of a Stephanie of the buying world from the looks of it. One of the panel of Ocado. I wouldn't give her the time of day. In all fairness, I mean, I know we've got work to do, but we've a job to do. But and she's a buyer, but she could be a little bit kinder with the criticism. You don't have to be over the top, which she was, but we'll not go into that. She's not up for the Apprentice, is she? But as I said, she was the Stephanie version on the buying side of Ocado. The food went down well, which is fair enough, but obviously it's just got to be the logo, and obviously the mums and babies like the food, but again, even they picked up on the logo, the dyes aspect of it for babies, not a greatest idea. So next, of course, was where we got this. I've lost my thing now. Iceland, that's it, Iceland, yeah. So they went on to Iceland then. Again, I don't understand it. Harpreet wanted to sort of say that, I mean, if you have feedback on something, you have another buyer to approach. You know the product's nice, you know you can taste it, and it has been mentioned. But at the time, I think just change, just say yes. We have a slight problem with the labelling. We'll alter it. I mean, all right, you're admitting you made a mistake, but so what? At the end of the day, you got a good product, and they probably would have done better doing that. But obviously, Steph sort of came out and convinced Harpreet that they shouldn't mention it and it wouldn't be noticed, but it was. You know, these people are experienced, these people are professionals. Of course it was noticed. Aaron and Brittany were pitching to Ocado. Some frowns as they eat the stodge, so very bland and didn't look great, in all fairness. And the babies and the mums agree on that as well. And Iceland, for them, they just didn't like the taste. But I think they actually claimed the parents and babies did. But they didn't. They didn't, as far as I know. They just basically lied, as far as I could see. So we've got a good taste and a poor logo for first-time foodies. Will that rescue him? Will the good taste rescue him? And you've got a poor taste and a confusing frying pan type logo or sieve in my judgment for a little taste adventure. So it didn't look good. Didn't look good going into the boardroom. We had the usual criticisms of Lord Sugar about most of the things that had come up in front of the panels and the supermarkets and the retailers, etc. Akeem, who loved his poster, he was very proud of his poster, took a pasting. His poster took a pasting from Lord Sugar, as well, of course, the labelling, which was, again, just a disaster. So we did come down to the orders, and it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me. I thought they might have got away with the taste being good. And the dyes label, just promised to reprint it, just promised to change it. You might have got an order, but neither team got any orders either from Iceland or Ocado. So it was a dead rubber. So what was going to happen? Yeah. So basically, all six lost. All six went off to the cafe. I'm not sure they didn't. It must have gone at different times. I'm not too sure how that worked, but it was quite funny. So there we go. Akeem, for me, as I said before the decision was made, Akeem had to be in trouble. A subdued Steph, possibly, but she may get. My consideration was she'd get away with it because of previous weeks, and she's still, as I said, even though she's deteriorated a little bit, she's still got other things in her that are good for her. Harpreet, of course, although she was fairly safe, I think, in all fairness, she was confident, but she was quick to blame the others when she was interviewed on camera, obviously separately to the others. So she was going to throw the others under the bus, whatever happened. Aaron, on the other side, yeah, he was accepting all responsibility. So I'm sorry, Aaron, if you're going to start accepting responsibility easily in the cafe from your colleagues and the people working for him, you're possibly on your way out. There's no way you can get around that. And he seems to have appeared to have given up, and obviously the girls united again. Were sort of not happy, but again, they were going to throw poor Aaron under the bus if it came to it, and that's how these things are. And yes, the first one to go was Aaron, who bites the dust. And I thought Lord Sugar was going to send them all back to the house. No treat, but all back to the house with a clip round the ear and a flea in their ear because of such a pathetic performance. But no, he causes a shock. And so rather than having a final 5, we're going to have a final 4 because he sends all 5 out and he says he's going to have them back and sack another. So as I said, if you're going to look at that, the 4 girls and the lad, even though Lord Sugar went around the houses, at one moment I thought he was going to sack Stephanie. I thought, this is a shock. But no, it was poor Akeem on his way out. And my bottom 2 before this, my bottom 2 that I mentioned before, are the 2 to go, which was no surprise. So 4 women in the final. Not the best final we've ever seen, not the best talent we've ever seen from all this, all the series I've watched. I think it's fairly weak. Did I see anything to alter my rankings mentioned earlier? Possibly. No, not really. I think Harpreet is head and shoulders above the others at the moment. It all depends on the business plan, of course, as well. Catherine's quite clear in second as well. I think to Stephanie, who's struggling. She's faltered the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think Stephanie's struggling with this process at the moment. And Brittany, like the lads, talks a good game. She's a nice person. But it will be, for me, of the 4 girls, she's the weakest. And if she wins this, it will be a bit of a shock. On the You're Fired programme, just have a quick look at that. Yeah, Aaron, all the panel said yes, he should be fired. And the studio said yes, he should be fired. Akeem, yeah, the panel said no. The panel thought, again, nice guy, Akeem coming out of this. But I think it's because of, obviously, Steph. Steph got a lot of stick, didn't she, from the panel? So only one said fire. The other 2 of the panelists said no. And, yeah, the audience said hired as well. So Akeem did all right. But it was never going to happen with Akeem, was it? Let's be honest about it. So there you are. Next time, what have we got? Well, we've got the interviews, haven't we? A certain amount of scrutiny will come into play and the business ideas will get looked through with a fine-tooth comb. So don't forget, obviously, you've got 4 business ideas. I mean, the final 2, I think, I'm sure Lord Sugar or someone will have a look and say, yeah, these are the 2 as well. So that'll come into it because he's not going to invest in something that's total uninvestable. So it'll be interesting. And of course, so some weaknesses perhaps in previous weeks might just be forgiven at this stage. Well, unless Claude has his way, of course. Let me know what you think, guys, as we look forward to the interview. I like the interviews. I think we all like the interviews. The only thing with the interviews is it means it's nearly over, isn't it? Which is a great shame. But let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you think of what's your top 4? Did you think Akeem and Aaron had to go? Possibly, because they were the weakest for me over the 10 weeks. And what do you think about the 4 girls? Who do you think is going to win it? As I say, I think at this point in time, purely based on confidence, even though it doesn't always work for her, Harpreet is well above the others at the moment. But let me know what you think anyway. And hopefully you'll join me next week as we get through these interviews, which should be quite fun, especially Claude's around, which I don't think he was last year, was he, from what I remember? I think he was a bit poorly. Was he a bit poorly? I'm not too sure. Anyway, all you got to do rest day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. To meet here again on the Film and TV channel, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.